Hello and welcome back to Mr. Pepper's Construction Technology class. In today's video we're going to go over part 2 of how to assemble your picnic table. In the previous video, in part 1, we have gone through and created all of our parts needed to create our table. Today we're just going to be focusing on the assembly of it. Okay, so get ready to follow along. This will be a long video, so I apologize in advance. Okay, but we are going to go through step by step how to assemble this full assembly. So in your assembly window, we're going to open up and we're going to go to Insert. We're going to start off by only adding in 6 pieces to start off with. We are going to start off with the 3 battens that make up the underside of the top of the table. Then we're going to insert 2 braces. And then we're going to insert 1 piece that is the tabletop. Remember, the tabletop is also the same as the seats on the side, okay? So these pieces here are the same as these pieces right here, okay? So let's get ready and put those into the lineup. Okay, what we're going to do first is once you have all the pieces dropped in place, click the check mark, and we can start rotating the pieces around. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to rotate one of the supports. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to click on the top face right here. Once again, I'll click it one more time for you. Right here on the top face, click it. Then you'll click this circle right here. And we're going to spin the piece 180 degrees. Okay, once we have spun that piece, we now have to tip these 2 pieces to where they go together. If you look at the one that I've already assembled, you'll note that those 2 pieces come off in that orientation. So, in order to do that, we're going to click on this face here, and then we are going to rotate it downwards 24 degrees, because that is our degree that we drew them to in our drawing. So 24, hit enter, click off to the side, and we're good to go. Same thing on this piece. Click on this face, rotate it downwards, and we're going to enter 24 degrees, and hit enter. Okay, that's as simple as that is. Next, we are going to move on to connecting these 2 braces to the central batten. To do that, we are going to use the Fasten Mate connector. We're going to zoom into the middle, and you see right here, I'm going to click and put the mate connector right on top as if it's a coin sitting on top of the board. I'm sorry. We're going to do that on both sides. Click it there, hit the check mark. Now we need to do the same thing on top of these 2 supports. I'm going to rotate my view to the top view so I can see what's going on more clearly. Once again, go to the mate connector, and we're going to set it just on top as if it was a coin. And one more for this one. Okay, now that we've got that done, we can now start to connect these pieces together. To do that, we're going to use the Fasten Mate tool. Okay, we're going to click the the brace first on this connector. Click that one, and then click where we want it to go. So we want that one to go on this side. See how it automatically moves over? Hit the check mark, and we're done moving that piece. Rinse and repeat the same process. So Fasten Mate, click that circle there, and click this circle here. Y'all will notice compared to the drawings that we have, that in these drawings the boards are offset, and same thing whenever we do the actual build, the boards are offset, but we are keeping our drawing more simplistic today, and we're not moving those around. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is we are going to put some points along each of the battens. Okay. So follow along with me on this first one, the one that is closest to our view. We're going to take our mate connector, and we're going to put one right in the center of the outside of the board. Just like the coin sitting on top of the other one, that's what we're going to do here. Sometimes it takes a second to get it lined up. Click it there and hit the check mark. Now, at this point, we're going to do some preventative stuff for our next step of attaching the legs. We're going to go ahead and put a mate connector on this side. We're going to have two of them. But this one, I need it to be 2 inches to the right. And then we're going to come back and we're also going to put one that is 2 inches to the left. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click the check mark here. Sorry, not going to click the check mark yet. We need to hit the move function first. So here in this X orientation with the red arrow, see that red line right there on top of that connector that we just placed? We need to move that to the right 2 inches. So we can just click right here, type in 2, and hit enter. You see how that moved over? That's what we're wanting. Okay, for our second connector, it's easy to think, okay, I put it in the same place, and I just type in the number 2. You would be wrong if you think that. If you type in 2, it's just going to move to the right again. To get it to move to the left, think about what we have to do in geometry. If we are doing a graph grid on a piece of graph paper, to move it to the left, we have to go into the negatives. Right is positive, left is negative. So we are going to type in -2 and hit enter. Notice how that moved to the left this time. Okay. Now we're going to rinse and repeat over on this one, but it is going to be opposite because this is on the opposite side of the table. So we're going to take one connector, put it on the outside, click check, and on the inside we're going to place it right here. But remember, we have to move it, so click the move function. To go to the right, we're going to type in 2, hit enter. Now I need to do the same thing to the left. Come down here and hit the check mark. Do move, -2, and there we go. Now we hit the check mark. Okay, at this point we are ready to add in our leg components. Okay, don't get too excited about the rest of this just yet. Let's go ahead and get our leg components drug in. Okay, so our legs are going to be right here. We're going to drag and drop 4 of these in place. 3 and 4. Don't forget to hit your check mark. Now I'm going to take a pause for just a second on the legs. Let's look at our top piece that we've already dropped in here. We need to get it lined up with all of our pieces that we had brought in first. So in order to do that, we are going to connect it to the very center of this board with yet another connector. So we're going to put one right there, click the check mark. Then we need to put some connectors on the bottom of this board in order to attach it to both the center batten as well as the end battens. Alright, the end battens, it's going to be connected right here on this outside one. That reveal is going to be a 4-inch overhang. If you look at my other assembly that I've already done, this is a 4-inch overhang right here on this side. Same thing on the other side, 4 inches of overhang. So let's rotate around our view to the bottom of our shape. Okay, now I can clearly see the bottom. We're going to use our mate connector tool, and we're going to click and put one right in the center. Easy peasy. Then we need to do the end ones for attaching to the outer battens. So we're going to put it right here on the end. And this time, you'll notice that we're moving in the green orientation. So we need to move in the Y. If I type in +4, it will move upwards. If I type in -4, it will move downwards. So this time we're going to type in -4. Notice how that moved downwards with a -4. Then we're going to click Make Connector again and put one more on this end. and we need to move it up. So once again, it's in the green orientation. So we need to move up +4. So we'll just type in 4, hit enter, now that's moved. Hit check mark. Now we can start to assemble all of these pieces together. So we're going to use our fasten mate connector. Click on the bottom of our top first, then click our central connector here, and that moves that into place. Then use the same fasten mate tool to connect your end battens with the central tabletop board, and then we can go ahead and move forward to attaching the legs. Okay, so we should be at this point now. At this point, if you have any questions, please ask me in person in class or shoot me an email, and we'll get you straightened back out. This is a good stopping point if you're having a problem. Okay, moving forward, our next step is to add the legs. That's what these connection points are for right here. In order to do that, we need to rotate all of these legs up vertically into the other orientation. So we need to move them to where they look like this. Keep in mind we drew them horizontal first, so now we need to rotate them. So 2 of these are going to be in the correct orientation, and then the other 2 we need to alter. So on one leg for each side, we need to click on the top and rotate it around 180 degrees. Okay, that's one. And then I'll click on one from this set and go ahead and rotate it around as well. Okay, now on all of those pieces, I can click on the front face and I need to rotate it 60 degrees up into the proper orientation. So 60 degrees and hit enter. Okay, once that one's rotated to 60 degrees, go ahead and move forward onto the next one. We're going to rotate that one also to 60 degrees. Keep rotating all of them to where they're proper. Make sure that you are actually getting it to 60 degrees. Don't let the computer fool you. You need to click on it first, rotate it around roughly, let go of your mouse, and then type in 60. Then hit enter. You'll see it do that final correction for you. Okay, now that we're at this point, keep in mind we already have our connectors here, so we need to put connectors on top of all of our legs. It's easiest to rotate to the top view in order to see how this operation works. So let's go ahead and add mate connectors to all of our pieces. On 2 of them, we will go onto the bottom corners. And then on the other 2, we will go to the top corners. Okay, so these first 2 that I'm doing, we're going to do the bottom corners. Alright, the other 2, we're going to go and do the top corners of these ones. Okay, so go through, add those to these. Keep in mind the orientation of these circles does matter. Alright, now I'm ready to go ahead and drag and drop all of these parts into place. So we're going to use our fasten mate connector, click our leg first, and then click where we want it to go. Notice how it's on the inside of the batten. So on this one it's behind it, and on this side over here it will be on this side that is nearest to us. Let's go and keep dragging all of the rest of our legs in. So we're going to move this one to here. Now we're just left with our back 2. This one to there. and this one to here. Okay, that should be all of our rotated pieces. We shouldn't have to rotate any pieces further from here on out. Our next piece that we're going to add is going to be the seat support. So the piece that goes horizontally this way. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag 2 of those in. So, got one seat support here, and one seat support for back here. To connect these ones, we're going to use the mate connector once again. This one, we want to be on the outside, just like when we drew this batten support here. We're going to draw it on the outside. Okay, it needs to be centered. It should auto-center for you. You'll see those white little dots. And go ahead and hit the check mark. Same thing on the back one. Check. Alright, from this point, please follow along with me closely. We are going to use the fasten mate connector. We are going to connect this one to the top piece. Okay, believe in what we're doing here. It will move it to right there. I know it looks wrong, but we're going to keep it for just a second. We're going to put it there. And then once we have it there, we are going to click on that connector, and we are going to delete it by hitting backspace. Once we have done that, the piece is here, but it is no longer locked in place. This allows us to move it down into position. To move this into position, it needs to be moved down 12 inches. Notice how the number is negative. That's highlighted in blue there. So I'm going to let go, then I'm going to type in -12 and hit enter. Okay, so that's where this board is going to be finally resting. We're going to do the same thing back here. So once again, fasten mate connector, click here, and click on that circle back there. Go ahead and hit your check mark. Now we're going to click on that connector again, delete it off. Now we can click on the face of our board and move it down the -12 inches that we need. Okay, so we should be looking like this. You should be able to look at the end view and everything should line up fairly close. Okay. From this point, we only have basically 2 more boards to add. We need to go through and add in all of our tabletops on top, our seat tops, and then the cleat that goes underneath the seats. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag and drop some pieces in for our tabletop. We'll come back to the seat support here in just a second. To move these into place, it's going to be very simple. We're going to go through and use the fasten mate tool to quickly move them over. Okay, so we're going to use fasten mate. We're going to make a connector right here. Then we're going to make another connector right here on the side of this one. Make sure they're oriented the same. There we go. See how that moved over? Now we are going to go through and offset in the x-axis. Notice how the red line comes off to the side there. We need to make a space of 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. But remember, we need to move to the left. So we're going to type in -0.25 within the x quadrant. Hit the check mark. You'll see that automatically move over the spacing. Let's do the same thing for the next one. So we'll go through, put our mate connector on here. Sorry, not mate connector. We're using our fasten mate tool. Trying to do things a little quicker here. Move it over there. Click your offset, and in the X type in negative 0.25. Hit the check. There's that board. Now let's do the other side real quick. Use the fasten mate connector. Notice how I'm changing sides. Okay, we're going to click that one there. We need to click on this point right here. Now this one we need to move to the right. So we're going to type in just a positive 0.25. Notice I don't need a plus sign, just type in 0.25. Rinse and repeat for the last one, and we should be good to go. Offset 0.25. And we are ready to rock and roll. Okay, now we need to add in the seat tops, then our cleats for the seats. Okay, so let's insert 4 more tabletop pieces. We'll put 2 on this side, and then 2 on the left side. On your outermost piece, we are going to use the mate connector tool again to get these lined up. We are going to put a mate connector here on this corner. So we're going to go ahead and put another one on this side, right at the very corner. Alright, now once we've done that, we need to rotate back to our bottom view again. Just like we did for the top, on attaching this top board, we're going to put connectors on the bottom side. So, to do that, I want to click on my Mate Connector tool. I want to put a circle right there on the very corner. Okay, I need to move it down 4 inches in that Y coordinate plane. Okay, that is the green coordinate plane. So we need to move it down -4. Okay, once again, that's -4. Notice how that moved that down 4 inches. Go ahead and click your check mark there. Let's go ahead and do it. Same thing for this side. But keep in mind it needs to be on the left. Okay, so we're going to put 1 here. Move, and -4 inches. Hit your check mark. Now we're ready to put those pieces together. We're going to use our Fasten Mate connector. Move this one into place. Click that connector first, then this one. Moves it automatically. Same thing over on this side. Click your board first, then where it goes. Now we have those 2 in place. Now we only need to use our Fasten Mate connector tool. We will click the bottom right-hand corner of this one. Click this left-hand corner here. Make sure that the circles are oriented the same. Being tricky, this one, isn't it? There we go. Now we need to offset it to the left, 0.25. So we're going to type in -0.25. Hit enter. See how that moved over? Now we just do our last one over here, Fasten Mate connector. Get the bottom left. Now we do the bottom right of this board. Now we need to move that offset to the right, 1/4 inch, so 0.25. Hit enter, click our check mark. Alright, it's easy to think that you're done at this point, but remember, we have only put in 5 of the pieces that we have drawn so far. So, what's missing? The piece that's missing is our cleat. Alright, the cleat goes on the bottom side of our bench slats. Okay, so we're going to put one right there. We're going to put another one over here on this side. For attaching these, we are simply going to put a mate connector onto the bottom of the bench on this side here and this side here. So let's use our mate connector, place one there, click our check mark. Take another mate connector, we'll put it over on this side. Now we're going to rotate back to our top view. And we're going to put some on top of these connectors. Sorry, on top of the cleats. Top of the cleats. Put one there, hit the check. Then one more final one here. Oh, that's the wrong side. Okay, so we should be left with that. Now all you have to do is use our Fasten Mate connector. Click on this one here. Click to where you want it to move. There's that one. And then one more on this side. There we go. Congratulations, we've now made the whole bench within the Onshape program. You can call this the quitting point. If you want to go ahead and colorize all of your pieces, that is fine. I do recommend right-clicking on one of the mate connectors and hiding all the mate connectors so that you have a nice clean view. Okay? If you've got any questions on how to do any of this process, please reach out, shoot me an email, talk to me during class. I'm here to help. So, once again, I hope you enjoyed this project. If you got any questions, please let me know. Congratulations. Have a great rest of your day.